Apparently, it's okay to bully someone if everyone else does it, because it makes you go viral according to Twitter and TikTok. Nothing is more inclusive than celebrating, and I quote, years of bullying Brendon Urie finally paying off.
Panic at the Disco just broke up.
You mean Brendon?
You have to make a video about this.
I was just scripting a Måneskin.
No, but you gotta make a video about these. Come on.
Fine. And close the goddamn...
Don't make the joke about the goddamn door. I'm closing it. Is this your humor? Cause this joke died in 2013, bestie.
Hi, my name is To Be Honest, and no wonder people click off this video with jokes this bad. Keep watching to see me go from totally hating Viva Las Vengeance and having the ick towards Brendon to saying this album will probably be remembered in history, and in a few years we're gonna regret all the shit we've tweeted about Brendon. I mean you. Cause I'm too shy to actually twit. Also, I got this nice suit for this video because Brendon always wears nice suits. So the other day I was just basking in a water full of jokes about the whole Panic at the Disco breakup thing when I saw this TikTok and I was like, wait. The last song, called Do It To Death, which is a bit self-aware of what people keep saying, is looping perfectly with Introduction, which is the first ever Panic song. Last Panic song ever loops with the very first ever. I just felt my stomach sank. I stopped and asked myself, do I truly hate or dislike this album? Or even Brendon, to be fair? I used to like him. I was very passive about the last album. I gave it a listen without paying much attention and then tossed it. I was living under the impression that it's a pile of shit, because that's what Twitter has been preaching for the last few months.
Brendon is a sellout and his voice is going out and people at his shows are in agony, etc, etc.
This transition loop thing wasn't aligning with that. He must have planned leaving Panic behind a very long time ago for this to actually make it into the album. And this is so considerate of the legacy he's leaving behind. If he was such a bad man, he would selfishly just drop the act. But instead, he made fan service. Past and future fans. For art's sake. I was confuffled. I've been out of the loop with Brendon since the internet kept bringing up scandals and cancelling him, and I alienated myself from him. Whilst the internet fed me with negative tweets like, X thing happened, so I blocked Brendon Urie. And there are so many threads of accusations from racism to him being a homophobe to being a shit writer after working with Taylor. I had no idea how true anything was, and I didn't have the time to check it. But if so many people were saying it, it must be true, right? So I, having no idea how severe these accusations were and why people hated him, I felt icky listening to new music. So I wanted to do a video doing research into all of these, because I used to be very in the scene back when Panic was quote-unquote whole, but it's in my personal interest to be objective and mature. I haven't been following anything for a few years now, so if the accusations are valid, so be it. If the music is bad, so be it. I report on it the way it is. I'm a pessimist, so I started a video thinking he's probably guilty of everything mentioned above, and with a god complex, selling out and making shit music. And I just wanted to point out that even if these were true, why do people love bullying anyways? Like, yeah, let's say it's shit, but how does your day get any better from throwing dirt at it, instead of ignoring it and moving on? Instead of calling Brendon names and giving a platform to a man who could be as bad as you call him out to be, you could maybe instead give that platform to someone who's up and coming and actually needs that platform to grow and expand as an artist. And after all, everyone on the internet keeps ranting about left versus right wing and positivity and inclusivity, but that's something they do after they shit on Brendon Urie, because their friends do it too, so they have to look cool, right? It's not like Brendon could be a human being with complex feelings who has to deal with the pressure of all of it and has to keep his mental state afloat. It's not like we've seen the specific social situation play out in the past with a musician or an artist or a band, I don't know, call it some random name like Nickelback. Because if we've seen it in the past, we should know by now that it's not okay to shit on people without a solid reason, right? Right? And I want to take a moment to acknowledge the accusations, and I feel like the best way for me to do it is to refer you to this video which talks about it so nicely and in depth and from all perspectives. Some harm was definitely done in the past, but I personally feel like it came from a place of not knowing any better, what I call the golden retriever personality type. It's also important to know that Brendon grew up Mormon and then hit fame at a very young age, so knowing social boundaries and where the line should and shouldn't be crossed could be affected by that. Also, video, a lot of stuff is taken out of context from a specific time period. And I vividly remember as these things were unfolding that we didn't care as much about stuff like this, and it's obvious that now with hindsight it wasn't okay, but I also see Brendon realizing this because he's been involved in so many fundraisers and organizations trying to promote things to kind of right his wrongs from his past, because what else could he do? He didn't just apologize, he actually is putting effort into doing something good to change that. I personally can't watch a video of Brendon and not feel him as a warm and bubbly person, but that's just me and I'm open to being proven wrong. What I do condone, or at least put under question, is his friendship with problematic people. But since I don't know enough, I don't want to draw any conclusions. Things don't add up yet, so my gut instinct is saying he hasn't actually done anything truly awful to be incriminated, and when he will, I will make sure this video gets corrected. But why has everyone started hating him at the same time? Oh, I know. Someone tweeted saying, Brendon is a sellout, and became viral. And you want to be Twitter famous, so now everyone is being mean for the sake of going viral. That's exactly what happened on TikTok too. First, a video about how people are not dancing or having fun on tour went viral. And now there's a whole niche of people trying to make it even more outrageous for even more likes and more algorithmic visibility. This was best illustrated when the breakup announcement came out. My For You page had 6 or 7 videos, one after the other, joking about how it's only Brendon now. A literal jungle where you had to be the best at dissing to come out on top with more views. Even I made jokes about it at first, but then I realized I don't really want to. I just did it to prove to my friends that I'm also funny and I'm up to date with internet topics, but I really don't have nothing to gain by being mean. And after it sinks in, you kind of feel bad imagining how it would be like to be the butt of the jokes of all the internet. Besides, no one is mentioning how insensitive this is towards the actual other members involved in Panic at the Disco. There are literal people on the Panic at the Disco subreddit admitting to making up stories of abuse so they could gain notoriety, and only now coming out clean because they feel pressured by the lies they told. Imagine the audacity being like, I feel pressured by the lies I told. Bestie, you fucked up someone's career, because not a lot of people are gonna see this post and realize it was all fake. Vicious. And I started feeling more and more bad for this man the more I read. He hasn't said or did a tenth of the things Jeffree Star would say on a Monday alone. Yet somehow he's the most hated person on Twitter. How this is not his villain origin story, I don't know. Kudos to him to keeping it together. And if you're still watching, I'm going to show you how I went from Viva Las Vengeance is the worst album ever to holy shit, Brendon, you did it. You local god. Let's start off with the initial perception of the album. When I started this video, I gave it a vague listen and it sounded strange, kind of giving me pretty odd vibes. Don't shout at me. And overall, the topics seemed like non-relatable, so I tossed it. I don't think I ever finished it. General conscious online was that his voice is weird and he's too confident and it's rotten his ability to sing. Now with the album before this, people complained he's gone pop and super polished and super commercial, which yeah, he kinda did. Don't think it was on purpose, but yeah, people hated it big time. Comparatively, this album was not as polished and Brendon actually recorded everything on a tape recorder, so no way of tampering with the recording, leaving in all the imperfections, and people still hated him for it. And can we talk about how bougie and artful this album is for that? Like, Brendon went fully artistic on this one, but nobody seems to be noticing that. Once I found out about this artistic approach, I wanted to see the videos he did, because Panic were always famous for their videos, but the commercial album before wasn't really it, so I didn't know what to expect. Viva Las Vengeance, love the visuals. Gorgeous, artsy, carefully crafted. If you love Gerard's Way, Hesitant Alien, you're a liar if you say you hate this. The message is clear. Dance Monkey Dance feelings he was receiving from the labels and fans is killing him slowly while he's trying to keep up a smile and performance. Older comments show people worried that Brendon might be needing a break, whilst new ones point out the breadcrumbs Brendon left regarding to the impending halt of Panic. Middle of a breakup, Billy Joel's Uptown Girl merging with Grease and other Broadway influences is obvious from the beginning. A gorgeous video showcasing artistic filmographic elements. Simply gorgeous. Subtones of the idea of this character Maggie being both the lover but also a metaphor for either fans or music in general. I'll get back to this concept in a moment. But next, Don't Let the Lights Go Out? I cried like a newborn baby. This is how strong this video is alongside the songs. Not to mention it gave me instant Queen Meatloaf vibes. That's when it first clicked. The songs songs were going for rock opera, and if you didn't have the mindset for that, you're going to be let down. But if you look for rock opera, the album starts to shine in the darkest of nights. Rock opera, recorded on tape with fine artsy Broadway-inspired videos, with characters, metaphors, and overall theme of predicting the demise of Panic by the end of the album. Boy, literal character named Gilly, like literally referencing Ziggy Stardust.
Beautiful.
Perfect. Let me make one thing clear. The reason My Chemical Romance was my personality for a few years was because of the characters and narratives they did on the Black Parade, 3 Cheers, and later Danger Days. Gerard Way being inspired by David Bowie's characters and narratives made my next decade obsessing over him. I'm not sure if you can see my first tattoo. Viva Las Vengeance is the goodbye album with narratives and references and calls to great historic musical projects. This stands side by side to me, to the Black Parade, to how My Chemical Romance closed their legacy with hints and Easter eggs for the future all the way back in Danger Days, to the way David Bowie created Black Star about his death, knowing he will die after releasing it. I could go on for hours. Next video, Sad Clown, is a gem to whoever enjoyed old Panic at the Disco videos with flamboyant costumes and setup and dramatic narratives, and doubles down on the whole dance monkey dance idea. It's a meta way of doing fan service and being like, ha, you like this shit, so I did it again, yet you're constantly hating whatever I put out. Sugar Soaker, even more industry slander and even more about how he feels, and even more fan service. We have Pete. Hi Pete. Now Do It to Death. This is the song which did the whole loop thing that got me into documenting in the first place. And when I saw the thumbnail, what did I just say literally 5 seconds ago? What did I just say about My Chemical Romance and the Black Parade? What did I just say? Does anyone have like $1,000 lying around with which you can sponsor a creator to go to London and see Panic at the Disco before they break up? I'm just asking for a friend. So my camera just broke, my lens won't attach to my camera body anymore, so I kind of just slapped them on, and right now it kind of works. I think the footage is okay, but I think I actually need a sponsor, because I definitely can't afford a camera right now. I mean, this is my backup. Hopefully I won't need it. Now going back to my breakdown, the truth is, I actually feel guilty for not giving this album a chance earlier, and that I had to get to this point where Panic broke up for me to realize how great this album actually is. It's like 2016 when David Bowie passed away 2 or 3 days after releasing Black Star, and how it took me quite a while to realize how good actually the album is. Why do I keep doing this? And obviously in the comment section I found dozens more people like me piecing everything together and regretting not paying more attention before it was too late. Everyone is so petty and aggressive for likes on Twitter and too busy to notice this genius piece of media. Yes, his voice is breaking down. He's tired, probably both physically and mentally for all of this berating. Just pay attention to the narrative of these videos. Watch them chronologically. You can feel how he feels. And listen to Say It Louder. That's all I'm gonna say. Sadly, I'm gonna have to end it here. I could talk for 20 more minutes about Viva Las Vengeance, but I promised myself I would keep these videos short, and I've already passed my word limit on the script. Luckily, there are no words to say how much I love Viva Las Vengeance. Cringe. But I will make the bold claim to say that this album is my favorite Panic album. If me from 2 weeks ago would hear me say this, she would be mortified. And I don't blame her. And I don't blame you if you think I've lost my marbles. What I will do though is ask you to please just watch the videos from this album because it's a shame, and trust me, it's worth the watch. I initially wanted to make 3 posters from all Panic's discography, but here are 3 posters inspired by Viva because damn, I love this era. Download them super high quality as a member on my Buy Me a Coffee where you can support me as a creator. And I promise that you'll never find somebody like me. This is cringe. Please subscribe. And thank you, Brendon, and I truly hope you're doing well. I hope to see you come back with full force, and thank you so much for watching and going through my emo phase again. That was my cat.